Came on the 17th. Good evening, we'll go ahead and start the meeting. Thank you all for coming. First item on the agenda is approving the minutes held from January 9th.
I'd make a motion we approve the minutes.
Second, all in favor. Next item on the agenda, consider increasing the park and recreation fees for the upcoming season.
Well, to help cover the cost of the minimum wage increase, we've been historically real low on our fees for our programs for the Parks and Rec. We started out with $25 per child, went up to $35, and Eric and I were talking, and we're making a recommendation to go to $50, which is still lower than what our surrounding communities are. With the quality of service that they're getting and the programs that are being offered, I think it's still a good deal. That's going to generate about an extra $3,000 to contribute towards the minimum wage increase. And it's not going to cover it all, but it's certainly going to take a big bite out of it. I don't think there's going to be a lot of pushback on the community. Last year when we raised it $35, nobody said anything about it. So I think that we'll be in good shape if we do allow this to take place.
Comments? Questions?
I think Eric still has a scholarship program that he uses for
He does.
needy children.
And it gets
right?
used. It gets used.
I'd make a motion we put it up to $50. That's for the summer rec program, right?
Summer rec.
Two sessions, right?
2 sessions in the summertime.
Yes.
Motion's made by Dana. Second by Bob, all in favor? Thank you. Next item on the agenda is senior citizen discussion by Kelly. Good evening, Kelly.
Hi. So first of all, let me just say that I'm very excited about the concept of a senior center in Oakland. I for one know that that would be a place that would greatly benefit my parents in town, so I'm fast approaching that as myself. So there would be a benefit for me as well. My husband too, when I get ready to get him out of the house. But I had some concerns after the last council meeting, feeling like there wasn't a whole lot of background information about the senior center and how it's going to be run and who's running it and who's responsible for safety and different things like that. And I understand that it's still in the interim stages, I'm not sure if that's the correct terminology, with RSU 18 and the town as well. And I do remember, I believe at the last meeting you voted to approve funding it monthly, the rent piece of it, if I'm correct in stating that, once they get up and running. I did go to the school board meeting that they had, and that was on the agenda, and they again just discussed that things were moving forward. They hadn't finalized any plans yet. They still were doing some repairs, still had some things they needed to take care of, and that they didn't plan to charge the town until they were physically ready to occupy the space. So I myself personally reached out to Sherry after reaching out to Gary for his guidance as to who I should talk to. So I reached out to Sherry Gilbert and asked her a series of questions, mostly related to safety. I, for one, don't want my parents attending a place that's not run, organized, and safe. That's what I do for a living. And I asked about some guidelines about, who gets to use it, would you keep anybody from using it? If somebody wanted to come under the age of 60, which was the guideline they had, would they be allowed to come? The response I got back was pretty much that they haven't answered any of those questions themselves at this point, and that there are several stages or phases that they're trying to go through, and they're still in phase 1. So my concern would be the idea of honoring a third-party request for them, mostly being the fact that having served on the budget committee in the past, I know third-party requests are really scrutinized, and my understanding from being on the advisory board in the past was third-party requests had to have some kind of background behind them making a request, a financial statement or a business plan or something to that effect. So my request to you would be to consider not honoring that third-party request for them at budget season until you have such documentation, like a business model plan, some type of a financial plan for what they're going to be doing with the funding. And then once, if you do move forward with funding them, who owns the things that they buy? Does the town own it? Does the senior center own it? If the senior center owns it and decides to go away in 5 months because it's too much work or something happened and they can't continue, what happens to all of that stuff that they purchase? So that essentially is my request, is for you to consider not funding that without some type of financial statement, background, or business model plan for how things are going to progress over there. Otherwise, I feel like you're really opening the door for anybody to ask for a third-party request because they have a dream and they want it to be fulfilled. And I understand we take consideration of town needs differently than we do third-party requests from people outside of town, much like the food pantry and things like that. But I kind of feel like this is different than that because there isn't anything to hang your hat on at this point. It's a wish, it's a dream, it's a plan, but there's no written documentation of a plan, and that I have concerns of that as a taxpayer and as potentially, you know, my family using this facility.
Good questions. Anybody here on the council have any questions or any thoughts or anything you'd like to add along with that?
I guess I might ask, do they plan to have any of this information available before we do, that's usually what, the last of February, we get into the third-party request?
Well, Donna, who's in the
Yes.
room here, she stopped down and visited me yesterday. And she came tonight to hopefully address some of these concerns
Exactly.
and have a conversation with the council. So if you don't mind, maybe it's a good chance to let her
Don?
work for a second.
Yeah. Kelly, your first concern, and I think all our concern about safety is at least the physical safety of the facility is being addressed by RSU 18. They had an inspection done, you heard about at the school board meeting. Those were all safety concerns that we had. We definitely agree with the risk management's assessment of potential problems. And hopefully the school board seemed to be willing to address those safety issues. Now,
Safety issues of the building, I
Yeah.
understood were being taken care of. The safety concerns that I had that I expressed to Sherry were, will there be somebody CPR first aid certified? Will there be an AED on site? Will there be a landline phone available for people who don't know how to use cell phones? My mother being one of them. Put a cell phone in front of her and she wouldn't even begin to know how to turn it on in the case of an emergency, things like that.
Now, one thing is, we are going to have someone CPR certified, first aid certified. I have looked into the price of, now an AED is a defibrillator? Yes. Yeah, I've looked into the price of those, and there's a $1,200 to $1,500 for basic models. So all these concerns are in your mind. Maybe someone would donate one to us. But we will have, and one of the parts of the program we intend to have is, for example, people to come in and have at least 1 hour a week of some sort of health-related education. And CPR would probably be the first one, but yeah, we will have some CPR, we will have first aid trained people there. And also, we are in proximity to the fire department, the police department, so we feel, how long would it take to get from Key Street to?
You're looking at minutes.
Yeah, it would be in minutes, because we are in proximity to the the first responders in town. So any other questions? The fact is, RSU 18 is also leaving us have a lot of the furniture that was in the building. They've been very generous to us. So it's just some tables is what we're looking for, if we can get them without spending any money. But basically we want round tables because they're more sociable. And that's basically what the third party request was for. because the RSU 18 has given us all the chairs that we need, bookshelves, et cetera, et cetera.
Can I just, is there a AED in the administrative office of Purvis?
I don't have an answer for that, I can't answer that question.
I know some of the buildings do, but
If I had to guess, I would say that there must be one.
the hours that they're there, there's one, would be one right next door, that's all. I don't know if there's one there. That I couldn't answer.
There is one in that building.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm AED trained, EpiPen trained, first aid, CPR myself.
And you'll be there
so-
every day.
No, I'll be there 1 day a week. Well,
These are just, I mean, when they're creating their business plan, these are things that I want them to address. Just for safety reasons, I mean, will they recognize signs and symptoms of somebody having a stroke? That's pertinent to that age group. Signs of, early stage dementia where they start becoming violent for no reason. I mean, those are all things that I have concerns of where seniors are gathering other than, on a
So maybe-
social occasion.
So I have a great suggestion for you. That your concerns are all valid and that they're very well done, thought through. So probably what you ought to do is go back to Sherry, because right now we're just sitting here waiting and watching to see how they're going to run it, so we don't want to cost the taxpayers any more money. So if you go back to Sherry and have her get in hold of the senior spectrum out in Waterville, the Muskie Center, and have her say, could you fill this wish list for me, and I can support it, and I can carry on and help support it. And that would help a lot of things, other than sitting here telling us what you'd like. And I'm not being mean about it, I'm just saying, I think it's the right way to go, is Senior Spectrum has done this, and they have gatherings of elderly citizens of the town. And they have done it for years and years, and they probably might know all these little ins and outs and all these other little things that they could help them. Dawn?
yes, and on the 20th of February, there's a meeting of senior centers from Wiscasset and all over the state, and we plan to attend that
Great.
February
Thank you.
20th.
It's a good idea. Dawn?
Just to reiterate, and summarize, I guess, what we're hearing is there's an awful lot of things that we as a council and the community doesn't have a sense of what's going on. And before we give a complete blessing of the project, I guess we need to have that. And I've heard Richmond mentioned, and now the Senior Spectrum and this meeting you're going to. We need to have a concrete, this is what our plan of action is. This is who's going to be on hand each day, or we're going to have rotating one person a week. It's going to be open from these hours to those hours. There's going to be food, there's not going to be food, there's going to be cooking, there's not, all
Yeah.
those little details that make a program work. We need to have a sense of what that really is going to look like before
Can
we
we put that on the agenda for the next meeting? I will have a document produce a document.
I don't know
with that.
if there's a timetable that we need to look at. We're looking at third-party requests coming up
Yeah, that's
months
fine.
from, well,
I
not
would like
months
to get
anymore.
going in weeks.
A month.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Go ahead, Dawn, I'm sorry.
no, I'm just, as soon as we can.
Okay.
We'd like to have
I will
a
plan for the next
complete,
meeting.
a complete plan that is going to spell out to us and the citizens of the town what we're proposing to do.
Because if
Okay.
Kelly's thinking of this, how many other people are thinking of this? And these are
Yeah.
questions we can't answer, but I think that would be the best thing to do is, I shouldn't say you go back to Sherry, but you go back to Sherry with your group, or go back to your group, and say,
Yeah.
look, these are things we're looking for, and put them down and
So
do
a lot of them
look.
are already decided, we have been discussing them. So we'll put it in
Goodness.
writing and get it to you guys.
Awesome.
And Donna spent about an hour and a half with me yesterday, and she
Yeah.
laid this out with me. She explained the hours, where they were at it. Maybe the information hasn't been as forthcoming as what I would like to see, but I think that's going to change. And Donna, you can get that information to me if you don't
Yeah.
want to wait until that meeting.
Okay, good, yeah.
And then
I'll
I
get it
can
to you
disseminate
quickly.
it to who needs to have
Awesome.
it.
Thank you.
So this will be a town-funded senior center with no town input though?
That has not been blessed yet. I have my own personal feelings on that, and I think each one of us do also. I hate buying a car and not being able to use it, how's that? That's my thought.
I think one of the things.
Good
that
valid
you-
points, these are all valid points.
You stated it's kind of in its infancy. It was, it hasn't been 2 months, I guess, that we've been,
I think we started in November,
Yeah,
meeting and
discussed,
talking
so
about
it's
it
like-
before we even got.
it's been kind of rolling along, and
Mhm.
kind of gathering steam, I guess you'd say, but it's, you know, there's still a lot of points it's not answered.
Thank you, valid points, I appreciate your time on that. Any other further questions? No further questions, move on to the manager's report.
Just, you got a copy of the library report. There's nothing remarkable on that. I also have a Katie Cog meet and greet that's scheduled for February 20th, and it's open to our council members. I'm going to have this in my office. If anybody's interested in attending that besides the other 9, then I'll try to get your signatures on it. Other than that, that's all I have, and ready for the executive session.
Chief, you're here tonight. Anything on your agenda that you need us to hear?
No, I'm actually here for one of the executive sessions.
Okay, good, just want to make sure. Lori, how are you?
All set.
Nice to see you here.
Great.
Thank you
Nice
for
to
being
see
here.
you
We
too.
always need you here to calm him down.
Yeah,
Somebody
it's my job.
Are you here for school?
Yes.
What can we do for you? What are you great? Tell us, why don't you stand up, tell us who you are and why you're here? How's that? Put you right on the spot.
My name is Davis Moore. I attend Messalonskee High School, just down the road there. I'm here for a sociology class, just like politics and
Good.
studying that.
Do you have any questions for any one of us?
I did not. I'm just here to listen and
And did
learn.
you need us to sign a paper for you?
No.
Thank you, John. Are you here? John? And you're here for one of the things, items. At this time, folks, we do have to discuss a confidential records in executive session, so I need a motion.
I make a motion to go into executive session on 1 RSA section 405, paragraph 6F.
Second from Bob. Thank you, Bob. All in favor? You don't know. Thank you. Is that the one for her?
Yes, this is Jackman Retail. David.
Is that kid? Put you right on the spot, Dave. That's different.